Little cold brew, get it going. Shout out Steve C. Yo,
What's
what's
up?
going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1 of the Friendly Phase Dynasty Fantasy Podcast. We're going to be talking about week 14 here, going into the last week of the regular season before the playoff. Last night, Cowboys and Detroit played, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, let's get into it, fellas. Welcome to week 1. We got
What's up?
our boy Steve C with us as well. So welcome Steve C to the platform.
What's up, y'all? I'm ready. Can't wait to talk fantasy. You guys.
Yes, sir, bro. So did you watch the game last night, Steve?
Yeah, I did actually. I got Dak Prescott and Jared Goff both on the fantasy, so I had to tune into this one. I thought it was going to be just how the game played out. I thought it was going to be a high scoring game because both those defenses are
Yeah, they kind of let
basura.
up. They let up a lot of
Thraga.
points.
Thraga Woods for sure.
So let me pull this up, Steve. Let me see how your players panned out yesterday.
Well, you said you got Dak and you had Golf.
Yeah, Dak
I mean, they got you a
and
nice little
Goff.
solid 18.
Yeah, they both actually played really decent. I think Dak kind of got messed up a little bit because he got a interception that wasn't his fault. I think it went out of
They played the
Higgins' hands.
exact same,
Shit.
bro. I mean, they both kind of are the same
He
type
had,
of quarterbacks.
he had
to
two
me.
interceptions. He had two
Yeah,
interceptions.
he did. One of
last
them,
night.
one of them was not his fault. I forgot who it was. He actually caught it, and then they just stripped it from him, and that counts as the interception for Dak. But yeah, both those defenses are whack, so they were able to just air it out. So it wasn't bad.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs looked like he went because I'm playing against Jahmyr, and looks like he's doing pretty well.
Jameer went
Yeah,
nutty.
he had
Yeah. I
33
he had,
points,
he had a
bro.
solid night.
Only
I
on
mean,
77. Yeah, well,
but I
12
mean,
carries.
7 for 7 out the backfield. But yeah, his carries, his yards per carry. I mean, shit, he had 12 carries for 43 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns though.
Yeah, I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know, is he number 1 fantasy player this year? I feel like he got to be, right?
Yeah, I would say it's
That's
between
actually a good
him and
question.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
I
Jonathan
think it's
Taylor.
either JT or that boy up in Buffalo, Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Between them two.
that's
Between them
one of
three.
the things that kind of messes with golf's fantasy production is just that they're so run heavy, and they put up so many points. I mean, yesterday they put up almost 40 points,
Put up 44.
and I think Jared Goff only threw for 1 touchdown. And they're just such a run heavy team.
Yep. But he
Yeah,
threw
they're
the
such a
pill
good team,
34
though. So I
times.
got Jameson Williams. So let me get your guys' take with this because Jameson had another back-to-back good game. I think he's one of the best, in my mind, I think he's a top 20 receiver in the league, but there's so much talent on that Detroit offense. What kind of fantasy value would you put on Jameson Williams right now? Like, you think he's a wide receiver?
I mean, right now he's on
2, 3?
2-3. He's in that 2-3, and he's on a little hot streak right now.
I mean, J-Mo's definitely. I would put J-Mo in a good wide receiver too. That has he has a really high. He's risky. He has a really high ceiling though, especially when Monte Brown doesn't play. You see how his fantasy production is just boosted.
And see, with Laporta out now, I mean, his target should definitely be increasing because really only just Amon-Ra and him. I feel like his numbers will definitely be going up as we move forward into the season and going into playoffs. I would definitely be plugging him in if I had him on my roster as a 2-3, solid 2, for sure.
So a 2, okay.
Possibly 1.
Possibly one, okay.
Depending on how your roster look, if you ain't got many receivers to choose from, dealing with injuries and stuff, I'll plug him in at 1, if need be.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
But
so
I ain't
like
got him on my team.
So I mean, if you don't got the depth, which we're starting to see that, I think especially in Dynasty, a lot of teams really don't got the depth showing up from injury, and now we're going into week 14 with the bye week. So you got players like CD, Saquon, Puka, Bijan, Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson. They're all week 14 buys. A lot of these teams can't afford for these players to sit because they can't even start a full roster, I feel like, at this point. So who are some players that you guys think you can plug in to get some production this week 14 that are kind of like players not a lot of people are thinking about?
Man, I got one off the top is Devin Neal, running back from the Saints. With Kamara hurt, he's going to be I think he's RB1 right now. He's that rookie out of Kansas. There's a couple. You got Blake Corum, who's kind of stepping up right now. Getting more of a more handoffs, just more increased role in the Rams offense.
Yeah, it's
But
cool. It's cool to actually
huh?
starting to give him the ball a little more now, finally.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit more love. I mean, you got John Michie from the Jets, that receiver. He's somebody that
he
you
has
can
been
plug
getting,
in. He's been
getting some targets.
past few weeks, he's actually he's been getting some targets. You know, his production's been
And
up.
yeah, speaking of the Jets, I
What you
think
think, Steve?
Adonai Mitchell too.
Yeah, Mitchell too. Even Mitchell too. You know, that's a player you could plug in. Not a big name guy, but you know, somebody that's really anybody on the Jets right now as far as a skill position. You know, but I got those two guys, like you said, AD and Michi, both on the Jets. I feel like those are two guys that could get plugged in if you got them on your roster for you know, to replace guys that are out on bye weeks.
And a lot of just injuries right now. So Steve, you got Saquon sitting. What are you gonna do? Who you gonna plug in?
For Saquon?
Yeah, Saquon's not playing this week, so who you gonna plug in?
No, Saquon is playing this week.
I see right here you got week
No,
14 bye.
Saquon plays.
They play Chargers
They played the Chargers.
Oh yeah,
Monday
they play
They
night.
on
played the
Monday.
Chargers,
I'm
buddy.
tripping.
Yeah.
Man, this thing that
My
I'm
bad. I
reading
don't
right
know
here,
what
this
week you
Google
on.
search is tripping for this. Right. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you're off. Yeah,
Get
I'm
off.
actually looking
Get off.
I actually think
Bro, look what I'm
Saquon's
reading
gonna
right here. That's crazy. It's saying Saquon sitting this week. I'm tripping.
no, I actually think Saquon's gonna have a really big game against the Chargers.
I don't.
Yeah, but Steve been saying that all year. Is week 14.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your
I
trade
think
here.
I
Let's talk about your trade here real quick. So Steve got Saquon Barkley at the start of the season. What was the trade?
So I think for Saquon Barkley, I gave was it 2 or 3 first round picks
you gave
and
up two.
Jacoby Myers.
You gave up two first round picks. You gave up
Now,
Jacoby Myers, you gave up your 2026 first round pick, your 2025 first round pick, and your 2027 first round pick.
And just so people know,
Thank you.
Steve traded Slico because Slico had Saquon.
Yeah,
yeah,
I started
I
off with
mean,
Saquon.
so I have kind of a different I don't want to even say different or a unique perspective when it comes to first round picks, but I think the draft picks in general when it comes to dynasty are just a little bit overvalued. So for me, I kind of want to accumulate talent and players that I know that are proven. So I look at both of them. I think I was telling Greg this. I look at both players and draft picks as currency. And to me, a proven player holds more currency than the
The
picks
first
do. And I think people get excited. I think people get really excited for picks, and then you see these rosters that just don't even have enough talent or players to even plug in. And I think it's to me, if you can have a roster full of proven players, you'll be able to move those players for draft picks or tier up and get better players. And I think if you have proven players on your roster, it's a lot easier to build, a complete roster. So for me, getting Saquon Barkley for 2 first round picks is a no brainer, especially,
I thought it was three.
with
three,
It
my
was three.
three
yeah, and I'll
Bucko.
give up 3. And I
So
just think with those 3 picks, and my team's a little bit different, right? Because I have Bucky Irving, I have Chase Brown, and I'm adding Saquon Barkley. So the picks are
So you're saying context matters. Is that what you're saying? Context matters?
yeah, I think context matters. I think you have to look into all that. But to me, I just think proven players hold a little bit more value than a draft pick does.
So you get 3 picks for Saquon. And what did you turn those picks into? And then I want to compare, like, I want to get to the heart of, like, do you think it was still worth it where we're at right now? That's what I want to get to.
for me
So
or for
you
Steve?
got the 3 first round picks, and what did you turn that into?
I turned that into I got Hampton, I got Mecca, and I got Golden, Matthew Golden from the Packers. For me, you know that's who I really wanted in the draft, and like
All
those
3
three
of
players
those?
in particular, even all three of those players is like who I have my eye on coming out of the draft. I think Emeka and Golden were the top two receivers to come out of college last year in the draft. I thought they even though he hasn't had a good season this year, you know, it's been a quiet season for Golden. You know, this is dynasty, so this is it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I feel like season two will be a lot different for him. And even with Hampton, man, Hampton's been out shit since what week 4, so he's just been on my IR chilling. But I mean, I've got a lot of depth on my roster, and I've got picks still in the chamber. Whereas like Steve, he got that win it all mentality right now. So Steve does have some dogs on his team for sure. Like you look at Steve's roster, man, he look like the Monstars, but he's got nothing to fall back on, because he's got rid of most of his
See,
picks.
that's where Steve beg
So
to differ,
I
though.
don't know how it's gonna work.
Steve think
Yeah.
okay, so let's, yeah, break it open.
So
Go ahead.
here's my philosophy with that, right? So I'm saying I want to have a team full of proven players, right? And I kind of treat dynasty. I think it's more similar to a redraft league than it is something like totally different, right? So I think people think like dynasty, it's this like crazy different thing to get all excited with these draft picks, and they kind of treat it just so different, but it's very similar. So I can go into each year when I have all this talent and treat it like a redraft. So for me, when I accumulate talent, so like I have Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, and Chase Brown, right? I could go trade Bucky Irving and go get a younger receiver, a younger running back, as opposed if I go to a team and I say, hey, Greg, I'm going to trade you my first round pick for, I don't know, let's say a starting running back. That might not happen. But if I say, hey, Greg, I'm going to give you Bucky Irving for a starting running back, you're more likely to take that. So I just think when you have these players, you could just treat them like currency and go ahead and trade it. So I have no draft picks, but I have players that teams want, and I could flip for talent. I could keep doing that every
So
year, bro.
do you think you could sell off Saquon right now and get 3 first round picks?
I don't want first round picks. What
I'm
I'm
just saying,
saying is
okay. Could you get rid of Saquon right now and get a Jonathan Taylor right now? Just straight up, Jonathan Taylor for Saquon.
no, you can't do that.
You
Yeah,
can't
at the
do that.
beginning of the
But
I'm
season,
so
could you
so
have
his
done that?
value.
but in the reverse, what I'm saying is in the reverse, you think about last year, could you have gotten Jonathan Taylor for Saquon Barkley? Yes.
Facts.
Right? And so each
That's
year,
true.
your
That is true.
players, when you hold on to these players, right? It's like a stock market. So Saquon, he's having a down, but next year he's gonna ball out, and it's gonna be so easy.
We don't know that.
Or even if
Yeah,
he,
we're so
you know
so
that
so
Like,
Steve is confident in
nah,
Saquon, and
we don't know
I'm
that.
confident in Saquon too. But ask Steve this. I've been telling him, hey, we might have seen the last of Saquon. I don't know.
I'm just saying, man, like that running back position, bro, it go quick. So like I feel like I sold him at a I want to say sold him, but I got rid of him at a perfect time. Like shit, he was at
yeah,
the
but this
I
is what
think he
I'm
had the best I think he had his best season of his career.
So Steve, you would do that
And my
again.
team was
You don't regret having Saquon.
No, this is what I'm saying. Fleeko has Saquon Barkley on his roster, correct? Okay, look at what Fleeko was able to get for Saquon. Well, if you keep trading away these proven players, you can't make deals like that because you don't have the depth to now do that. I have,
Mm.
I'm saying I have the depth to go move a buck. I could go move Bucky Irving
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this off season and keep going. But while you
shit.
guys keep trading these proven players, Bate can't go make that Saquon Barkley move anymore because he needs a running back.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. Look,
Yeah,
go
but
check the roster. I got
let me
plenty of
play this side because I see what Steve's saying, Sleek. Do you have any running back where you can get 3 first rounds for? Again, that's what
right,
Steve's
right
kind of
now.
saying. Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah,
Shit,
right
I
now.
got C-Mac. Somebody might do that for C-Mac. I don't know.
Would you pay for C-Mac, cuz?
Somebody might do
Christian, yeah,
somebody might do
I
that
mean,
for
yeah,
C-Mac, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, don't get me
You never
started on
know.
that.
Like that's the thing. Like you never know. I was surprised Steve. Like I was surprised me and Steve got that shit done. I thought he was gonna be like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. He did it. I got C-Mac for a first round. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I just sent the trade, but he accepted it. So you never know. You know, you really
Christian
never know.
McCaffrey
I was
for
just
a first round? Wow.
is
yeah.
it's crazy.
I forgot you got Christian McCaffrey, but that's
I
another
got Bree.
thing that
I got Brees Hall. You know, I feel like Brees Hall, even though he's on a trash ass team, you know, shit, he's still young in his career.
I think
I
what
got
Steve is
horses in the
saying is
stable,
like,
bro.
even though he don't got the picks, it don't mean that he don't got the currency. That's what I feel like he's saying.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm
but
trying to
as we get deeper in this league, then picks is kind of gonna mean because you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to get rid of players then. You know what I'm saying? To
no,
have some depth.
I don't I don't think so. I mean, it just depends. You have to look at when it comes to dynasties, you got to look at the construction of your roster. But what I'm saying is that especially for I can only speak for our league, and I think in dynasty as a whole is that people get so excited for these draft picks and they're willing to trade players that are already proven and already good to get these draft picks that might not actually hit. And so by doing so, by getting rid of players and just accumulating draft picks, you're trading things that you already know for what ifs.
All right. So what about like 4 years from now?
Well, 4 years from now, I still have young players. I have Bucky Irving, I have Chase Brown, I have Garrett Wilson. I'm not it's not that I don't have I feel like those are just as valuable as a first rounder.
Who?
They're
I
more
mean, yeah,
valuable.
because like Garrett Wilson, like obviously is probably better than any receiver coming out of the draft. But I don't know. let's say, God forbid anything happen, you got to think about injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like G was just talking about bye weeks and injuries. So yeah, players like I had one, Amari Hampton went down. He was my RB1. Needed to plug him because I was struggling. Right, I need an RB. So I was struggling trying to find the RB, and I made that trade with Shea, that second round for Vidal, which I thought he got me. But I mean, I was desperate. So that's what I'm saying is like when you don't have picks, you're gonna get desperate because if you need to fill a roster spot that you need to fill, you're gonna get desperate and you're gonna probably undersell or overbuy. So I understand where you're coming from because you got a lot of young talent, but like I said, like I think in the long, like as we get deeper in this dynasty league that we're in, those picks are gonna matter just for depth reasons. And yeah, just trying to fit, just trying to get a spot for somebody that's injured or just doesn't pan out. That's why I don't value picks like crazy, but you're gonna need those picks. Like I think for
Well, some
you,
people in
like you
this
don't have
league
any
do.
picks
Some
coming up
people
in
in
this
this
draft,
league
right?
do.
I mean, the only one is really just
Yeah,
Shea.
I get what you're saying, but where I'm coming from is we have a start 10, right? I have
What?
we start 10 players, right?
Yeah.
That's our roster start. We're in a fantasy dynasty league and we're in a start 10.
And there's
I have
12
about
there's 12 teams.
16, yeah, 12 teams, start 10. I have about 16 players that are startable players. So what I'm trying to get at is that our league specifically, they trade away proven players for picks. And I'm just acquiring all these proven players, right? And next year, if I wanted to, I could trade two of them and get a better player. And it's just like I'm treating these players as draft picks, even though I don't have them. If that makes any sense.
All right, well, let's draw the line in the sand. We're gonna be talking about that for a long time. So Steve don't
Yes,
really
sir.
value draft picks that much. Sleeko value them a little bit more. So
Just a little bit.
let's move on to
Just
the
a little
next
bit more.
segment. The next piece is the friendly fade segment. So Sleeko, who's been a hype, who has not
You
been
got that
panning out?
bell? Where's that bell?
I'll ring the bell. Ding ding ding.
Where's
Who needs to catch the friendly
ding
fade?
ding? Man, Brian Thomas. Bring them gloves out, player. Brian Thomas, I feel like he definitely got to catch the friendlies, man. For real. Started off, I honestly feel like he's been the biggest bust so far. That's just me.
I would love to go get a Brian Thomas right now. Still, I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, I mean, it was his rookie year last year, and he snapped. He had a great rookie year, but since then he's just fallen off. Receiving yards have dropped. He's missed games. His targets are down. I feel like he's just failed to live up to that wide receiver one expectation. So Brian Thomas, yeah, got to catch those friendlies, player. Another one for me it was in between Nico Collins and Jamar Chase. But I'm going to go with Nico. Same thing with Nico. His catch efficiency has dropped a lot. He's had a lot more drops this season. But they have had issues, with QB injuries and stuff. But yeah, I don't even think he's like a wide receiver one right now. I feel like he's like dropped down to like a wide receiver three if we're talking fantasy value.
All right, so Steve
He's
got
just not
Nico.
putting up those numbers.
Are
Steve
you
do got
concerned
Nico.
about Nico's long-term value?
No, not at all. I mean, if you look at that, you got to look at the team, right? So he's been playing without CJ Stroud, right? And if you pull up his numbers, he's actually been pretty decent in the last like 5 weeks. He scored a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. So they've been using him in like creative ways. They also have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. So I think Nico Collins has kind of been his production kind of dipped a little because of not having CJ and playing in that team. But I have no concerns with Nico at all as far as the talent, and his fantasy production's been pretty decent those last 5 games. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I know last week he did really well. I think he almost had 18 points.
He got you 19.
All right, well, let's move on to the last piece here. Playoffs are starting next week. All three of us are literally on the cusp for some of the last few playoff spots. But what are some
It's a
things,
traffic
some
jam.
trades? Because I think there's in our league, it's pretty interesting. There's a few teams that are just like a lot better than others. I think there's maybe like 4 teams that are like really good, but then there's teams that are going to be in the playoffs that they do have some like holes at their position, I'll say. If I'm a team that's in the playoffs, kind of mid-level, what are some moves that you think are worth making to try to win and go for it? Or do you think it's even worth winning to try to go for it if you're like
Shit, it's always worth winning.
in the middle? Because there's only 6 teams that make it. So let's say you're number 5 or 6 and you make it. Do you think it's even worth to go for it?
I mean, I think
For me, it always is. Go ahead, Steve.
No, I mean, I think that's something you gotta look at before the trade deadline, and you have to be real with your roster construction. So I see some teams there's 2 or 3 teams in our league that are in the playoffs currently where their rosters are awful, right? Yeah, they're in the playoffs and you're like, okay, this team's in the playoffs, they're doing something. But when you really take a look and you peel back that roster, it's not a playoff roster. And I feel like you gotta look at that before the deadline and really start making moves then because we're locked in now. There's nothing you can do, right? Because playoffs
Just
are
set
in, and the only moves you can make are going to be coming the off season. So
just set
I
your
think
line up and
teams
pray. That's it.
yeah, I think teams don't do a good enough job of like really being real with their roster construction and trying to make changes before that deadline happens because there's some playoff teams that I definitely think should have done that.
Can we get a name?
Look at Greg. Can you pull up? Can you pull up in your pockets?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
that
I'm
boy
pulling them
number
up right
6
here.
right now.
Yes,
In your pockets.
we got number 6. Shout out in
Yeah.
your pockets. Let's take a look here.
All right, Greg. Read in your pocket. My bad, but let YouTube know that roster.
Yeah, let me do this real quick. 1 second. Let me pull it
Bro,
up.
hey, he just be finding ways to win. I don't get it.
Fleek, it's not
Yeah.
loading
So
for
I
me. Is it
mean,
loading for you? Can you read his starting lineup?
I mean, oh, you want his roster right now? So
Oh,
right
here we
now you
go.
got Shadur. You got
so in
Shadur
your
up there.
pockets, without even having that roster, you got it up there,
I
big.
got it. Well,
All
you know
right,
what, bro?
go ahead and
Here,
read
let
that.
me shoot. I'm gonna share my screen, and this can all be edited too. So I'll cut some of this. I'm gonna share my screen and we just see
You
it
can pull it
live.
up.
Yeah, I could pull it up. Let me just.
I mean, he's got Jay Herbo. Jay Herbo's been having a good season.
Yeah, but
Actually,
he's
Jay
starting Woody
Herbo, it's
Marks and
been,
Isaiah Pacheco.
which, yeah, he just find ways to win, dog. It's crazy. He was like that last year too. Same shit.
Yeah, that
He was on.
team
Yeah,
is
like
awful.
if you look at his roster, like the shit is not attractive at all.
So what I'm saying, Bake, is in your pockets is gonna be in the playoffs, and in your pockets has a 0.001% chance of winning it all. So what in your pockets should be doing is looking at his roster, and yeah, he's in the playoffs, but he needs to be making moves if he wants to continue. So that's where you just got to be real with your roster because now in your pockets, he's stuck with that team until the offseason, and he ain't doing nothing in the playoffs.
Oh, hey, you saying all that and you right under him, bro. No homage.
Okay, so
Like,
then
so,
Yeah, well,
so
I'm gonna pull up.
so
We're gonna pull them up side by side.
yeah, side by side, and
he's
we could
seven and
look at
6. You're 6 and 7. You did like, yeah,
correct,
you got more points than him, and he's got like the least amount of points in the league. No, he's got the second least amount, and he's in the 6th spot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
correct.
But he's in
Hey,
second worst league.
fantasy's wild.
Yeah, fantasy wise, second worst points, but he's number 6. That is crazy.
Yeah, so then like for my team, right? So I'm one of those teams where I think my roster is stacked, right? And it's not equaling wins. But I'm not looking at that as like a panic where I want to sell these players because we see players' production change season to season, especially with these good players, right? You see Saquon Barkley, for example, last year he went crazy. This year he's mid. Well, I'm not going to just trade him because he's not performing. I think Saquon Barkley's a good fantasy player. Next year, I think he's going to do well. You think about like a Lamar Jackson, right? Like Lamar Jackson's raw. So he's not doing good right now because he's hurt and he's trying to come back mid-season. But imagine if like New Jack was just to trade Lamar because he's not doing good. He's going to run Lamar next year and be fine, right? So that's where I'm looking at my players and kind of looking at them like a stock market in a sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to do that,
He's just holding. He's
you know.
buying and holding. But all right, fellas. Well, as we wrap things up, we're gonna go into week 14. Gonna complete week 14 over the next few days. Any last words that you guys wanna mention before we peace out?
Ice up, fellas. This shit finna get tricky because we got a bunch of, yeah, that trying to sneak into that last playoff spot. It's a traffic jam. So it's gonna be a lot of sad faces, a lot of mad people. So yeah, all I got to say is ice up. See y'all in the playoffs.
Steve, any last words?
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely will be making the playoffs. I'll come on next weekend, if I don't, but I definitely will be making the playoffs. Stay tuned.
Steve feel confident he gonna win it all this season. Steve confidence is always unwavered.
Well,
Yeah.
shit, the way he shit constructed his team, shit, he better because he spent
He
it
did.
all. He threw that shit all on Black. That's just all on Black right now. Just waiting. That boy sweating. He nervous. Been
So
talking
we'll
shit all
see.
season. So we gonna see.
Talking shit all season,
You already know what I'm hoping
and
for. You
will
already know.
continue to do so.
Yeah. So this has been a competitive season. This is year 2 for our dynasty league. So we still trying to work the kinks out. You feel me? Change some rules up. So yeah, just stick with us. And a lot more excitement on the way. So stay up and stay tuned, people.
All right, y'all. Till next time.
Ghost.